I've decided to make and test a bunch of single oil soaps. I want to evaluate what each oil does on its own. I'm thinking this will be a practical guide for when it comes to formulating blends, when I can see what qualities each individual oil brings to the party. It's something I've been interested in doing for a while, and I'm not expecting to see vast differences between most of them, but there's only one way to find out for sure, and that's to do it. To keep things consistent for each test, I'm going to use 300 grams of oils. The super fat will be the standard 5% and water will be at 20%. The only difference is that I'm going to add a bit of colour to each one so I can keep track of which is which. I'll cut a few bars of each and test them at different time intervals, starting with when they're fresh out of the mould. I'm Rox. Let's crack on. Hello, it's only me. It's been a while since I made the single oil soaps series. In fact, it's probably been more than 6 months. But today I'm going to bring you a 6 months-ish update on how those soaps are getting on. One thing that I noticed, whether this makes any difference to anything, is that a few of these soaps are kind of not really opaque, kind of semi-opaque, translucent. Let me just show you. If this doesn't work, I'll put some photos on. Sorry, get your goggles on. So this is a control soap, which is coconut. And I don't know if you're going to be able to tell there, but the light shines through it, which I found was interesting, and I've never really noticed that before. And do things like this matter if you're making transparent soap? I guess so. This one is kind of transparent. Well, not transparent, but the light shines through it. And the other one that I noticed the light shines through is this shea butter. I don't know if you're seeing that. It looks kind of pink, but then I did put some colour in it. But the light is definitely shining through that. And if you compare that with, say, the peanut. If you compare that with, say, this peanut, you can see there's a big difference there. There's no light shining through there. That's just an observation that I've made. Never noticed it before. I'm going to start looking at some soaps that I'm going to discard before I even test them, and I'll just quickly run through why, and it's really obvious when you see them. The first one is our probably the worst affected is the grapeseed oil soap, and it's got, well, yeah, I don't think they're not spots so much as it's got a very brown tinge all around the edges. Doesn't smell great. It's gone rancid. It's very sticky. The soap's a little bit too heavy too. It's very sticky. And it's very, very soft. So I'm not going to bother testing that one. Next up is rapeseed oil. So this doesn't look great either. It's got a very brown tinge to it, and here on this edge, I'm hoping you can see that on camera, it's discoloured. It's really discoloured from this nice blue that's in the middle to a sort of greeny browny colour. It's hard, that part of it's fine, but no, because it's not looking great and obviously a bit rancid. Next up is the sunflower oil soap. Again, sunflower oil is absolutely fantastic, but when it comes to using it for a 100% oil soap, this bar suggests it's not a good idea. While I can't see any evidence of any dreaded orange spots, dust or rancidity, and it smells okay, it is incredibly soft. It's really soft. So, and this is after 6-7 months, so totally unsuitable. Next up, and to my disappointment, because I do love corn oil in soap at smaller percentages, it's the corn oil soap that I'm discarding. It's hard-ish. Well, it's harder than some of the other ones that I'm discarding, but it still has a little bit of softness to it. It's very sticky. But yeah, you can see, especially around these corners, that it's squishy. So, unfortunately, I'm discarding this. I think I did have good things to say about this when I made it. I can't really remember, but great in smaller quantities, but not 100%. Okay, so another one, the last one that we won't be testing is this, unfortunately. It's a very trendy oil, I'm guessing. Hemp seed oil. This doesn't look great. It's definitely got dreaded orange spots, rancidity. I think those two little depressions in there where my fingers have poked it in, but so this does not look good. So unfortunately, hemp seed, and it is very soft still. I don't remember there was one that was really spongy and bendy, but I can't remember which one it is. That one's not good, so I'm not going to test that. I'm going to throw those all away. Okay, so for the ones that I am going to test that have survived for this length of time and are still looking good, of the soft, well, this is a control bar first of all. This is just 100% coconut oil. Looks great, really firm, a little bit of soda ash on, absolutely fine. Out of the liquid oil soaps, there's only two that appear to have survived this length of time, and this one is the peanut oil, groundnut, some people call it, or arachis oil. This one is really nice and firm. It's not affected by any DOS or discoloration. It looks good, so we'll test that. I can't remember whether I made one on 100% olive oil, but I did make 100% olive oil soap, and I'm sure that you will have seen people doing it. So I'll just include this one, whether or not I did do a video on the olive oil. So this is an olive oil soap. I think this is a little bit tackier than the peanut oil. I nearly said peanut butter oil. Peanut oil soap, but really nice and firm. No dreaded orange spots or anything. Looks absolutely fine. So for our hard oils, oh no, we've got one more liquid oil soap to go, and that's the rice bran oil, and this one looks great too. It's still very firm, not sticky. It looks good. We'll test that. And then our remaining, the two that are left are the hard oils. So we've got the shea butter, which looks great, nice and firm, no dreaded orange spots, and cocoa butter, again really firm. This is probably, I think, firmer than the 100% coconut oil soap, but that's really firm. I'll test that. Hey, so first up, let's try the Control Bar, the 100% coconut oil soap. So fine bubble. Fine bubble, but as we should all know, 100% coconut oil has a tendency to strip. It's such a good cleanser that it strips your skin of the oils and leaves your skin feeling tight and dry. So as far as coconut's concerned, I think if it was me, I think it's great. I mean, there's no question of that, but if you're going to use it at 100%, I would suggest maybe increasing the super fat so it's less drying. So next up, I'm going to try the other two liquid oil soaps first. So I'm going to try the peanut. So I'm getting some bubbles, but not massively bubbly. But they're there. You know, they're kind of more of the smaller, tighter bubbles. Super. Okay, so let's try the rice bran oil soap, and I'm guessing with the remaining liquid oil, 100% liquid oil soaps, that they're higher in oleic acid than, they're considerably higher than in oleic acid, with a much lesser proportion of the linoleic acid. But I can't remember offhand, especially with the oils that I'm not massively familiar with working with. But this is the rice bran oil. So we're getting I think the bubbles for this one are better than the peanut. They're larger, not as big as the coconut oil, but they are bigger bubbles. Feels good. Didn't test the others for creaminess, but yeah, definitely creamy there. And I'm thinking that will be down to the rice bran having some, I don't know, stearic and palmitic acid content. But yeah, great. So you could get away with a 100% rice bran oil soap, I'm pretty sure. So next up, I've got the 100% olive oil, which I really don't remember making a video for 100% olive oil soap. I really don't. I've got dog hair on my hand because they get everywhere. I really don't remember doing a video for a 100% olive oil soap, but I've clearly made this as part of this series. Perhaps it could be that maybe the video didn't work, or there was something wrong with the video, so I didn't make it. Maybe I have, and maybe I have got one there, I've just forgotten, but I'm going to test it anyway. I mean, olive oil, 100% olive oil soap videos, I tend to the penny, there's loads of them, but I'm going to test it anyway. So again, we've got some bubbles going on. I think they look kind of equivalent to the rice bran kind of bubbles. There's a really ginormous bubble. Creamy. Maybe not as creamy as the rice bran. Yeah, so some great bubbles coming from that. I mean, look at those. Marvellous! Water's getting pink from the neon colour I put in. So all that remains is the shea butter and the cocoa butter. This is a shea butter. Yeah, there's some weak bubbles. Because it's hard though, it might take a couple of moments just to start to solubilize. Oh no, they're okay. And I would expect this to be very creamy. That's really nice. There's lots of probably doesn't show up on camera, but there's quite a lot of very small tight bubbles there. Does that show it better? So that's the 100% shea butter. And finally, let's try the 100% cocoa butter soap. This might take some time to get going because it is super hard. You just need to let the water start to let the outside solubilize a little bit so it can get going. I do seem to remember, I don't know if I dare say it, but do I remember that we didn't get very many bubbles from this right at the beginning. Bubbles are coming. They're quite sparse. Just give it another go. Yeah, even with, I mean, they're there. But even with encouragement, I don't think we're getting a copious amount of bubbles. But, you know, does that matter? As long as it bubbles. And as for the creaminess, it's disappointing. I don't think the creaminess is anywhere near as good as some of the other ones. But other than that, great. Anyway, that's that. If by any chance if I remember, and because I still do have some bars left, I may come back in another 6 months and let's see how some of these are doing after a year. Have they survived? How are they performing? But that's it for today, and I'll see you later. Bye.